Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons from brandnsimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So this week, the Texans are going to have a rematch with the Titans from their game a couple of weeks ago, where the Texans beat the Titans in overtime, 19-16, with our backup quarterback Case Keenum. And the ironic part is the Titans are bringing their own quote unquote backup quarterback for this game. So I get into all of that and what the Texans need to do to get a win for this week. First off, let's see if I can get through this game recap. And quite frankly, man, the game recap to just to go over last week's loss to the Browns, it it's forgettable at best. Like, um, I know become this earlier in the season, this game was a lot more hype because a certain quarterback that had a injury, a certain Cleveland Browns quarterback that had a shoulder injury this year. He was expected to play before said injury, but obviously that wasn't the case. So I'm not sure if the team just was not ready for this week. I'm not sure if the Texans were still high off of their win over the Titans from the previous week, which was a big win and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, in this game, they did not look right. Um, first play of the game, Amari Cooper, he has a 53-yard catch to get put into the red zone, to put the Browns into the red zone, and that's just the start of many of the big plays that he had that day. He ended up setting the Browns record for receiving yards in a game. Um, so just overall, just bad defense, bad offense, bad. They tried to mix in Case Keenum and Davis Mills. Uh, they tried to do what they did in the Cowboys game last season, just bring in Mills on certain situations, and it just wasn't executed properly, to be honest with you. And so that I feel like that messed things up worse. Um, so overall, everybody was just off in this game. You know what I'm saying? I'm, I'm gonna chop it up to them being a little bit too high off the previous win. But you know what I'm saying? This past game, it was just unacceptable. And it didn't knock us out of the playoff race. We're still like number 8 or in the wild card or whatever. But and to top it off, the Jaguars that 87 as well, so we're tied with them and the Indianapolis Colts. So we're still pretty much alive in this thing, but we can't lose games like that. You just can't do that. It's no, you can't do that even if you know what I'm saying the playoffs are already decided for us. That's just you don't want to have that going, and you don't want to have that loss on you going into the postseason unless it's just a lot of stuff that you need to put on tape so you can work on and know what to avoid. So they just got to get past that game, and so I believe they'll do that. All right, so moving on, um, Kareem Jackson. So Kareem Jackson, former first round pick of the Texans back in 2010. Actually, oh God, I forget. Anyway, former first round pick of the Texans. Um, he's coming back. Recently got waived by the Denver Broncos. Texans claimed him off waivers. Um, he's been with Denver. He's been around the league for a while. He's been with Denver for like quite a while as well. You know what I'm saying? Playing safety for him. And so, recently he just, I guess he's coming off a suspension, for, unnecessary roughness or whatever. So, what I'm saying? He hasn't really played, and it doesn't seem like he's played in the game like in a while. So, um, it'll be good to like just welcome him back. I mean, hell, we got D'Amico. Let's get Kareem. All we need is JJ. JJ keeps hitting at that. But yeah, for Kareem Jackson, I think this is a good pickup. Texans have been having injuries, over the last few weeks. Even looking at this injury report, it's crazy how many people are like did not practice next to their names, uh, but just all over the place, especially in the safety position. So um, if anybody happens, if anybody unfortunately happens to go down or whatever, I think we got a good pickup that can just come right in, step in, a good veteran that can, you know what I'm saying, just really step in and just handle business, you know what I'm saying, off the fly, you know. And yeah, it's a different coaching staff than, you know, what he played for down here, but um, he's been in the league for a long time. You know what I'm saying? He's not shook by anything. So, um, and apparently he's a hard hitter. So, as long as he, you know what I'm saying, uh, does the hard hits the right way, I think we should be fine. You know what I'm saying? Don't draw too many penalties and nothing like that. So, welcome back, Kareem Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what you got. Speaking of returns, CJ Stroud has finally cleared concussion protocol. Finally, because it's crazy. You know, with concussion protocol, I've seen it where dudes have been cleared within a couple of days, and yes, for some, there are some cases where, you know what I'm saying, in CJ Stroud's case, that it might take about at least a week or so. But he's finally cleared it. I'm not sure what was going on. I guess they were being extra careful with him. So you know what I'm saying? Welcome back. He comes back at the perfect time. We have 2 games left in the season. We're still dead in the middle of this playoff hunt. Just dead in the middle of this wild card hunt. Dead in the middle of the division of the hunt for the division. So you know what I'm saying? Just seeing what the quarterback position was doing for us these last 2 weeks is welcome back, CJ. That's all I gotta say about that. So yeah, as I mentioned about the injuries a little bit. Uh, oh yeah, so some most notable names: Will Anderson seems like he's still dealing with that ankle injury. Malik Collins, Jonathan Bernard, both had 2 straight days of did not practice. Steven Nelson, same for him. Also Sheldon Rankins. Everybody else seems like limited or full practice. Um, so yeah, it looks like everybody's good to go. Stroud is actually listed as a full participant in practice. So, uh, man, that's that's going to be something with our D line, with Rankins and uh, well, yeah, with Grenard, with them being hurt like that. Hopefully, they'll return on Friday and Saturday and give it a go. So, kind of segues into my next little points, and that is, you know what I'm saying, has to do with the game preview against the Tennessee Titans. So, as I mentioned, Houston beat Tennessee in overtime, overcame a 13-3 lead in the second half behind Case Keenum. And, you know what I'm saying, they beat them on a game-winning field goal. So, fast forward to the next week, Houston didn't really do all too well. Obviously, I just told you that. But fast forward even more so to today. We get our quarterback back. CJ Stroud is returning to the lineup. He's cleared concussion protocol. However, the Titans are going to come at us on the road. They're visiting us um, with their backup quarterback this time around. Last time they they put in Will Levis as their starting quarterback. He was declared the starter, like going forward, like that's his job. Um, and so, you know, in that game, he actually got hurt on one of the sacks, which was a lot of them. But he actually got hurt, so he had to miss last week's game. And so the person that took his spot was Ryan Tannehill, the season's original starter. So Titans are coming back in this, coming into this rematch with Ryan Tannehill back under reins. Um, and like I said, I probably mentioned it before. This game is for the records. It's a rivalry game. Records are just out the window. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter that Tennessee is already like been put out the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to take us down with them. So it's gonna be a tough, tough, tough game. is going to be like really exhilarating and emotionally charged, especially with CJ Stroud coming back to the lineup. So, with that being said, here's two things that I feel the Texans need to do to win this game. So, number one, and I still stand by this even after the injury report, bring more pressure. So, in the last game, Texans racked up like 7 sacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, this, unfortunately, that's part of the reason that Will Levis is hurt. Um, the Texans put up, 7 sacks in that game. And I'm trying to find it. Sorry about that. But yeah, 7 sacks in that game. For Tennessee last week, with a whole different new quarterback under center, they gave up 6. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a whole bunch of sacks at that quarterback position um, that's getting hit. Let me see if I can get the exact numbers for who had what. So, yeah, in that game against the Titans, Grenard, he had 2.5. Malik Collins, he had 1.5. You know what I'm saying? So they combined for 4 sacks there. Desmond King, he had a sack, and that was his first game back with the team. So the Texans have to find a way to generate pressure, because obviously the problem that they had when they faced us, it doesn't seem like it got fixed when the Titans went to go face their next opponent. You know what I'm saying? They gave up 6 sacks. So uh, so you could probably sit there and say, oh, it wasn't 7. Well, should have been 0, but you know what I'm saying? So um, I definitely think the Texans have to find ways to bring pressure. Um, there's some guys that's, come off the bench for that D line, and, so they really just kind of bring it, and they really got to pin the quarterback down and all that stuff. So um, they just Houston just has to find a way to get that going again and make that something and make that an efficient attack. Um, Second thing Texans need to do is get Stroud back to work. When he look, the last 2 weeks, and obviously they have not been the greatest of weeks as far as like passing goes, as far as what we're accustomed to. You know what I'm saying? And so it's Stroud is going to be a breath of fresh air coming back under center, because he's actually, what I'm saying, he's going to get comfortable with the receivers. He's going to know where to go with the football in a game situation. So it's probably going to take him a little bit to get his rhythm going, and that's expected. You know what I'm saying, coming off an injury and just laying off like that. But I definitely think that it's best that we let Stroud get back to work. You know what I'm saying, utilize his arm as much as we can. Protect him, of course, but definitely do not hold him back from anything. You know what I'm saying? This running game is actually might actually be helped should Stroud come in and lift this passing game up. Because he's going to come in, he's going to boost the passing game like tremendously. Like, we're going to look at the last 2 weeks compared to Sunday's game. We're going to like, what were we doing? You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So definitely, I would say with him boosting the passing game tremendously, it's going to help our running game a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's going to help the running game have a repeat performance from the first Titans game. You know what I'm saying? In that game, Singletary ran for over 100 yards. You know what I'm saying? So one of the few 100-yard games he's had this year. So I definitely think that, yeah, Stroud coming in is going to just help the team tremendously. It's going to boost the offense tremendously. You know what I'm saying? And once he does that, like, things should be smooth sailing with that. So those are only 2 things Texans need to do. Just bring more pressure, find ways to get more sacks, get the quarterback down on the ground, and also let Stroud get back to work, get back in his groove, and, you know what I'm saying, just really start making plays with football the way he has been doing this season. So that's all I got for y'all this week. I'm Brandon Simmons for brandnsimmons.biz. If you're watching this on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to my page. If you're watching this on Facebook, facebook.com/BrandonBlog. Like my page, look out for more content that's coming on that particular page. So I'm Brandon Simmons from brandnsimmons.biz. Holla black.